So, hey, in service, remember whenever Pastor had gotten arrested and this concept of like how it's important to rest. And if you don't rest, God will make you rest. It brought up a thing for me whenever I was listening to it, him talk about it, because I was serving. So I wasn't there in service, but I had to go back and watch it. Definitely should watch it if you have not watched it. It's really good. And it made me think of a story, and I was talking about it in my women's group that I'm a part of with my tribe, because it was a service that he talked about. If you won't rest, God will make you rest. And whenever I was very uncomfortable with the idea of like the broken leg, and you'll know what I'm talking about if you go back and watch it, but like how the shepherd will break the leg of the lamb, and it's for its protection. And it's very uncomfortable. Like, I don't like it at all. And I'm also aware that it's important to take a second and, like, okay, God, here we are. And so I thought of the story with Esau and Jacob. Okay. Jacob's name means trickster. Typically, we know that. And Esau's name means hairy. That's kind of neither here nor there, but whatever the case. Lots of hair. So there's a point in Genesis 27:40, and it's where Isaac has this blessing he's asked. Isaac has a blessing that he has given to Jacob, and then Esau walks in on it and he says, "Hey, give me something. Just give me something. I want something." And whenever he does, he says, Esau pleaded, "But do you have?" This is 38. "Do you have only one blessing? Oh, my father, bless me too." Then Esau broke down and wept. Finally, his father, 39, finally his father Isaac said to him, "You will live away from the richness of the earth and away from the dew of heaven above." That is verse 39. Verse 40 hits me hard. Get some water while I do this because it's good. It was very good. It's very powerful. Verse 40. "You will live by your sword, and you will serve your brother. But when you decide to break free, you will shake his yoke from your neck." When you decide to break free, when you decide to stop striving and going, when you decide to forgive your brother, when you decide. So God has set this up. And then, you have Isaac, and you have Rebecca, and you have this moment where Rebecca's like, "Go to my brother. You can't be here because if you stay here, you will die. Like, Esau will take you out." And then you have fast forward verse 28, or sorry, not verse, chapter 28 and 29 and 20. Like, he's constantly, even 27, he's fleeing, he's running. And whenever service, he was talking about Psalms 23 and how he will make you lie down in green pasture. He will make you lie down. I get it and I understand it, and it's also really hard. And he talked about still waters being a reflection, and that's also a thing that was like, whew, this is hard for me. So whenever I was listening to it, there's this moment where Jacob obviously is running, he's going, he's fleeing. He has a dream, so he has to lay down. And then he has a dream where he experiences God for himself for the first time, where he actually, instead of saying, "My God's," like my father's God, instead he has a moment where he's like, "This is mine." And then he's running. So he runs on, runs on, runs on. And then whenever Jacob, he arrives and he gets to Laban, and he's telling, Laban, as soon as Laban heard that his nephew had arrived, he ran out to meet him. He embraced him and kissed him and brought him home. When Jacob told him his story, Laban exclaimed, "You really are my own flesh and blood." That's 29:13. I say that because there's this moment whenever Jacob, he tells his story, and it's taken advantage of. So Jacob is running for his life. He's scared. He wants to marry one of Laban's daughters. He's like, oh yeah, Rachel's gorgeous. I want that one. And all these things. And Laban sees it, and once Jacob opens up to his uncle takes advantage of him. He sees, oh yeah, you really are just like me. You are a reflection of me. And so it's really hard, because then you think you can trust this family member, but you can't. So Jacob is always on the run. So he's running, 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 running. So once he works there for 21 years, after he works there, Jacob has a lot of kids. He has a wealth amount of, like, a ton of stuff that happens for him. It's blessed, 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 blessed. And then you get in verse 31, Jacob flees from Laban. So now he's fleed from Esau. Now he's fleeing from Laban. And now Laban's fleeing towards him, chasing him. He's going to get him, and he pursues him. And then you have 32. Jacob starts on his way, but he sends off, like he's going towards Esau, because he's been told to go towards Esau. Now the brother that, again, he has to have some anxiety there. This is a brother that he's stolen from. This is a brother he tricked. This is a brother, and he's now in this position of, like, I know what it feels like. I understand what it feels like to be tricked. I understand how painful this is. And so Jacob is experiencing this of his own, and he's like, oh, this is not fun. I don't like this. This is blech. This is blech. I don't like this. And then you have the fast forward where Jacob sends gifts, because he's trying to kind of bribe, low-key bribe is how I look at it. But honestly, it's smart, because even in Proverbs it talks about it. So it's not a bad idea to send gifts and kindness. But he does this. He sends gifts. And then you go fast forward again, and Jacob sends everybody away, and he's by himself. And whenever he's by himself is whenever he has this moment with God. Now, again, he's fleeing, he's being pursued, so he's running again. He doesn't know how to stop tricking. He doesn't know how to stop. He doesn't change until he meets God. And so when he wrestles with God during the night, this is 32, okay, chapter 32, verse 22. During the night, Jacob got up, took his 2 wives. He sent 2 servants' wives and his 11 sons crossed the Jabbok River with them. After taking them to the other side, he sent over all his possessions. So he's by himself. He has nothing. This left Jacob all alone in the camp, and a man came and wrestled with him until the dawn began to break. When the man saw that he would not win the match, he touched Jacob's hip and wrenched it out of its socket. Then the man said, let me go, for the dawn is breaking. But Jacob said, I will not let you go until you bless me. What's your name? The man asked. He replied, Jacob. You will no longer be Jacob, the man told him. From now on you will be called Israel, because you have fought with God and with man and have won. Please tell me your name, Jacob said. Why do you want to know my name? The man replied. Then he blessed Jacob there. Jacob named the place Peniel, which means face of God. For he said, I have seen God face to face, yet my life has been spared. The sun is rising as Jacob left Peniel, and he was limping because of his injury to his hip. Even today, the people of Israel don't eat the tendon near the hip socket because of what happened that night when the man strained the tendon of Jacob's hip. After that, running, fleeing, everything, he had an encounter with God, and God, in that moment, not just blessed him, but blessed him with a burden, blessed him with a limp, blessed him with a change of pace, blessed him with a change of movement, blessed him with a stride that's changed, blessed him to slow down, to stop running. I have so many things that I've ran from and that I constantly keep running from, and I'm terrified to do, and I'm anxious from, because I'm afraid this person's not going to like me from this, and this person's not going to like me from that, and so I'm constantly in the running stage. And here God is, and he's like, let's take a second and breathe. Send everything away, quiet it all up, and let's take a second and breathe. And where I am right now in this moment is like to see that concept that Pastor talked about whenever he talked about the lamb having its leg broken. I'm like, I don't like that. I don't know if that's true. And then after I remember hearing the Holy Spirit's like, what about Jacob? He always ran until God said no more. Now he has to limp. Now he has to have something that he holds his stability towards, which is a cane or a staff. He's no longer able to run. He has to slow down. And so I'm like, okay, God, I see it. I get it. Now I might need to slow down. So, Sabbath, taking a time to reflect and rest and to change your pace. And it will change your name. It will change who you're known as. It will change who you're seen as. Because at that point, he had to be confident enough to say, okay, wait a second. Because he still did stuff. He still had the mentality to still run, but he couldn't anymore. Like, even whenever he went to his brother and his brother greets him and is kind to him after 21 years ish, 21 years, we don't know, I don't remember exactly how long, but I know it's about 21 years because of that, how long he was gone. But around that long length of time, for God to be like, and now your brother has broke this off of himself, so now he can greet you with love and kindness and care, and he's not coming at your throat. Like, that's a whole nother side. So God is preparing people on this side and while you're being prepared. But you have to trust him in your rest. You have to trust that he's got you. And that's scary. So there's so much to be seen. And that was one of my favorite moments of like the Holy Spirit's like, remember that one story? And I was like, oh, I love that story. It's so good. So I thought I would share it. Take what's yours. Only take what's yours. If it's not yours, leave it here. Because there's so many different pieces and nuggets to be taken. But take whatever you feel like God laid on your heart for this moment and see what's yours. So anyways. All right. Love ya.